Alright, guys, welcome back to the Self Mastery Podcast. Today I'm going to be discussing transitionary phases in growth and how we can feel like an imposter and a fraud when we're in a period of growth. So, when you're going through a period of growth and when you're deciding to be a different person and you're really stepping into this new identity, oftentimes what can happen is you can experience feelings of imposter syndrome, you can experience feelings of like just in general being a fraud. You don't feel like that person yet because your body and mind doesn't have enough evidence of being who you say you are. Now, in this period, we are the most subject to criticism from other people, and we are extremely fragile in the sense of a comment from another person, just someone saying anything about who they think you are can completely break the structure of who you're trying to become. What I like to do when I'm in a period of growth or like a transitionary phase of my development is I like to decide who it is that I'm going to become. So I literally map out exactly the man that I want to be. And then from there, I reverse engineer it. So for example, back in the day when I wasn't as into the gym as I am now, I would literally say to myself, okay, what's the goal that I want? And the goal that I wanted was, a good body, a good physique, just a healthy lifestyle. But specifically, it was a good body. So I was like, all right, if I want the good body, I need to become the sort of person that lives the lifestyle that gets that good body, right? So I said, what would Ricky, who's in really good shape, what would he do on a daily basis? And I really thought about that. And obviously, the first thing came to mind, he would probably exercise and go to the gym regularly. So I started to train regularly. I started to show up as that person. I started to embody him before I was him. Another thing that he would do, he'd probably eat clean and, really be on top of his nutrition. So I started to do that as well. Another thing he would probably do, he would probably prioritize rest and recovery and actually ensure he's getting enough sleep every single night. So that's another thing that I started to do. He would probably drink a lot of water and really be on top of his hydration. Another thing I started to do, I literally just chose the sort of person that I wanted to be, reverse engineered it, then started showing up as them. Now, a lot of people will say, is this fake it till you make it? And it's very similar, right? Because with fake it till you make it, you're sort of pretending to be this thing until you achieve the desired outcome. I personally don't like that approach. I rather an approach of embody it until you become it. So decide exactly who it is that you want to become, embody them as if you are already that person, and then eventually you will become them. And it's very similar, but it's a little bit different in the sense of, I don't like the term fake. I think fake imposes a sense of fraud on your mind, specifically the subconscious mind. And when you're in a transitionary phase, that is the last thing you need. When you're in a transitionary phase, you lack self-belief. You lack this evidence that you are who you say you are. So to put yourself as a fraud or to use words like fake it till you make it, that really doesn't resonate with me personally. Now, when you're in a transitionary phase as well, there is something that always happens, and that is relapsing back into old patterns and behaviors. So when you're trying to become a new version of yourself and you've decided who you want to be and you're showing up as this person every single day, what tends to happen is you're going to relapse back into the old version of yourself every now and then. Initially, it'll be really frequently, and later on down the track, it'll decrease in frequency and you'll start to show up as the person you want to be more frequently. Now, this is crucial to understand because when you're in this transitionary phase and when you're trying to become this new version of yourself and you relapse back into old patterns and behaviors, oftentimes that can be the very thing that can discourage someone from even trying at all because they're like, well, obviously this isn't who I am. I failed. I didn't get it right. I fucking went back into the old version of myself. But this is a mentality which isn't rooted in truth. Because the truth of the matter is, when you're growing and when you're in a transitionary phase, you will experience relapse. You will experience falling back into old patterns and behaviors and everything like that. And the fact of the matter is, you just need to be okay with that. You need to process the emotions around falling back into those old patterns and getting back on track and staying as the person that you are striving to become. Now, I want to talk about opinions from other people. So when you're in this transitionary phase and you're trying to become a better version of yourself and you're really stepping into a new identity, that's really what it's all about, identity, right? A lot of people around you are going to call you out, right? They're going to say things like, this isn't who you are. Who do you think, this isn't who you are. Who do you think you are? Who are you trying to be? Who does this guy think he is? They're essentially trying to tear you down. They're trying to bring you back to the level that they know you as, right? Because the thing is, people construct mental models of who they think you are in their minds. They construct this model and they believe you to be this person. And so when you start to grow and when you start to shift this identity of yours, what's going to happen is you're going to piss off a few people around you because you're changing the mental constructs they have in their mind. A lot of people don't like change. So when you're changing who you are, they have to change how they think about you. And a lot of people don't want to do that. They don't want to let that go. So instead of letting that mental construct go, they'll try and pull you back down with, snide comments like, who do you think you are? What do you think you're doing? This isn't who you are. All this sort of shit. And it's important to block this shit out. It's just noise. Understand that you're going to experience resistance on every level of growth. And the more you grow and the more you expand and the more you become the version of yourself that you're truly proud of and that you truly love, the more resistance you're going to experience. So go into this transitionary phase and go into this level of growth with the knowing that you're going to experience resistance, not only from other people, but also from yourself, also from falling back into old habits and patterns and all sorts of things like that. And it's crucially important that you understand these things and really go into this with the knowledge, because if you don't, you're going to be subject to getting pulled back into the old version of yourself. And guys, I think this is so, so powerful because we all have the power to become exactly who we want to become. And a lot of people never grow and a lot of people never change because they don't understand how much power we have, right? It's literally a case of determining who you want to be, understanding what that person would do on a daily basis and, on a regular basis. Start to show up as that person. So embody who they are, embody exactly how they live, embody the way they talk, embody the way they walk, embody the way they show up. How do they dress? How do they operate? How do they interact with people? Really map this shit out. It's like life design. You're literally designing your avatar or designing who you are as a person. Map it out, design it, understand exactly who it is, really set the vision for who it is that you want to be as a person, then start showing up as them every single day. And then when you experience resistance, because you'll be prepared, because you understand that these things are going to come, it's not going to throw you off track. It's not going to be something that completely deters you from your, period of growth. And the coolest thing about all this, guys, is when you finally, have enough evidence within your body and mind that you are who you say you are, it's going to be a seamless transition. Meaning you're literally going to wake up one day, you're going to be going on about your day, you're going to be in a transitionary phase, but then you're just going to be like, holy fuck, I'm this person now. I don't need to embody it anymore. This is just who I am. I don't feel like an imposter anymore. I don't feel like a fraud anymore. I don't feel like any of this. Because you overcome imposter syndrome and the feeling of fraud through just embodying it and giving yourself enough evidence. This goes not only for yourself, but also for other people. When you first step into a new identity, obviously you're going to feel a certain way about it and you're going to feel uncomfortable and you're going to feel scared and all sorts of things. For example, right now I'm filming a live on Instagram. I genuinely don't think I've ever done a live, especially while I'm doing a podcast. This is my second podcast, right? Now, complete transparency, I'm feeling a bit of fear right now in my body. Like it's pretty uncomfortable for me to do this, but I know that this is exactly what I want to do. So I'm embodying a podcaster, right? Right now, I'm embodying a podcaster. It's my second podcast. Right now, to be completely honest, I don't really view myself as a podcaster or someone who goes live, but I'm doing it. It's hard, but I know this is the process. And eventually, I'll be, let's say, 10 episodes in. I'm going to try and go live every day and make podcasts every day. Let's say I'm 10 episodes in. I know that I won't be experiencing any fear or discomfort within the body. It'll be second nature. And that's the coolest thing. I will become this version of myself through the period of transitionary phase. And eventually it's just going to be so natural to me. It's going to be second nature. And that is the coolest thing, not only for myself, but also other people, right? I tend to find that other people have a lot of resistance with you stepping into a new identity until you just stay until you stay determined on the path and you don't give up. If you give people enough evidence that you are who you say you are, eventually they sort of like submit to a new identity. Like they're like, okay, well, fuck. I was giving him shit at the start, or I was giving her shit at the start, but now they're literally showing up as this person every single day. They clearly know what they're talking about. They are clearly this person. They're really becoming this new version of them. I'm not going to give them shit anymore. This is clearly who they are. You will submit to who you think you are eventually when you provide yourself enough evidence, and so will other people. Reality will submit to who you think you are. But you need to withstand the transitionary phase, which is the hardest phase. If you can't get through that phase, if you can't allow yourself to push through those uncomfortable phases and all that resistance and the opinions of other people and just even self-sabotage, like if you can't push through those initial things, you will never grow into the version of yourself that you want to be. So I want you guys to map out who you want to become, understand exactly how they operate, start showing up as them on a daily basis, understand there will be resistance from yourself and from other people, push through that resistance, continue to show up as the person you want to be, and eventually you will become them through natural, like evolution, through a natural process of just giving yourself enough evidence. You will become that person. You can't even avoid this. Like if you just show up as someone every single day, you'll become them. This goes for good habits and bad habits. This is why I think it's Jordan Peterson, the psychologist, who says, don't practice what you don't want to become. You can't pretend to be something and not become that. Let's say I was the sort of person who wanted to become an acrobat, right? I don't want to become an acrobat, but just an example. If I wanted to become that, I would embody being an acrobat for days on end, for months. I would, go and do the acrobat practice. I would show up as an acrobat. I would dress like an acrobat. I would do all this stuff. Now, eventually, I'm going to believe I'm an acrobat, right? I'm going to give myself enough evidence. But it also works on the negative side, okay? So if I am engaging in a bad habit, let's say like drinking, right? I don't drink, but let's say I wanted to use this example. And I drink every single day. Let's say I drink a 6-pack of VB every single day. And I'm just pretending to be, a drinker. I'm just pretending, but I'm drinking the drinks, but I'm just pretending, right? I do that every day for 3 months. I'm going to fucking see myself as like a heavy drinker or like an alcoholic. So don't practice what you don't want to become, but do practice what you do want to become and embody it, and eventually you'll become it. Thanks guys for listening to this episode of the Self Mastery Podcast. And I hope you guys got a ton of value. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to my Instagram. My Instagram is literally my name, Ricky Gauci, RICKY, GAUCI. And yeah, guys, I hope you all have an amazing day, all night, depending on when you listen to this, and absolutely crush it. You!